I'm Dominique. My students call me Miss Porter. I'm a theater teacher and I am an African American woman. What that means is I am the descendant of Africans who were enslaved in the United States. Sometimes it feels like our culture and our people are misunderstood. And as a lover of stories, I thought, what better way to share my love for my people and my culture than to share their stories, particularly sharing African American folk tales, which have been my favorite since I was little. These stories have been passed down for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, and some of them date all the way back to the first enslaved African people that set foot in chains onto the land that is now known as the United States. I figured this is a great way to shine a light on who African American people are and where we come from in a way that you won't learn in school. So I'm going to call this series The Love Library. I hope you enjoy it. The story is called The People Could Fly. This variation of the story is told by Virginia Hamilton, and the illustrations, the artwork, is done by Leo and Diane Dillon, two of my favorite illustrators. Lots of opening pages, editor's note, blah, blah, blah.
They say the people could fly. Say that long ago in Africa, some of the people knew magic. And they would walk up on the air like climbing up on a gate. And they flew like blackbirds over the fields, black, shiny wings flapping against the blue up there. Then, many of the people were captured for slavery. The ones that could fly shed their wings. They couldn't take their wings across the water on the slave ships. Too crowded, don't you know? The folks were full of misery then. Got sick with the up and down of the sea. So they forgot about flying when they could no longer breathe the sweet scent of Africa. Say the people who could fly kept their power. Although they shed their wings, they kept their secret magic in the land of slavery. They looked the same as the other people from Africa who had been coming over, who had dark skin. Say you couldn't tell anymore one who could fly from one who couldn't. One such who could was an old man. Call him Toby. And standing tall yet afraid was a young woman who once had wings. Call her Sarah. Now, Sarah carried a baby tied to her back. She trembled to be so hard worked and scorned. The slaves labored in the fields from sun up to sun down. The owner of the slaves calling himself their master. Say he was a hard lump of clay. A hard, glinty coal, a hard rock pile couldn't be moved. His overseer on horseback pointed out the slaves who were slowing down. So the one called driver cracked his whip over the slow ones to make them move faster. That whip was a slice open cut of pain. So they did move faster. Had to. Sarah dug and chopped in the row as the babe on her back slept. Say the child grew hungry. The baby started up bawling too loud. Sarah couldn't stop to feed it, couldn't stop to soothe it and quiet it down. She let it cry. She didn't want to. She had no heart to croon to it. "Keep that thing quiet," called the overseer. He pointed his finger at the baby. The woman scrunched low. The driver cracked his whip across the baby anyhow. The babe hollered like any hurt child, and the woman fell to the earth. The old man was there. Toby came and helped her to her feet. "I must go soon," she told him. Soon, he said. Sarah couldn't stand up straight any longer. She was too weak. The sun burned her face. The baby cried and cried. Pity me, oh, pity me, say it sounded like. Sarah was so sad and starving, she sat down in the row. Get up, you black cow, called the overseer. He pointed his hand, and the driver's whip snarled around Sarah's leg. Her sack dress tore into rags. Her legs bled onto the earth. She couldn't get up. Toby was there, where there was no one to help her and the baby. Now, before it's too late, panted Sarah. Now, Father. Yes, daughter, the time has come, Toby answered. Go as you know how to go. He raised his arms, holding them out to her. Kum yala kumbumbe tambe. And more magic words said so quickly they sounded like whispers and sighs. The young woman lifted one foot on the air, then the other. She flew clumsily at first, with the child now held tightly in her arms. Then she felt the magic, the African mystery. Say she rose just as free as a bird, as light as a feather. The overseer rode after her, hollering. Sarah flew over the fences. She flew over the woods. Tall trees could not snag her, nor could the overseer. She flew like an eagle now until she was gone from sight. No one dared speak about it. Couldn't believe it. But it was, because they that was there saw that it was. Say the next day was dead hot in the fields. A young man-slave fell from the heat. The driver come and whipped him. Toby come over and spoke words to the fallen one. The words of ancient Africa once heard are never remembered completely. The young man forgot them as soon as he heard them. They went away deep inside of him. He got up and rolled over on the air. He rode it a while, and he flew away. Another and another fell from the heat. Toby was there. He cried out to the fallen and reached his arms out to them. Kum kum kayale kum tambe. Whispers and sighs, and they too rose on the air. They rode the hot breezes. The ones flying were black and shining sticks wheeling above the head of the overseer. They crossed the rows, the fields, the fences, the streams, and were away. Seize the old man, cried the overseer. I heard him say the magic word, seize him. The one calling himself master come running. The driver got his whip ready to curl around old Toby and tie him up. The slave owner took his hip gun from its place. He meant to kill old black Toby. But Toby just laughed. Say he threw back his head and said, Don't you know who I am? Don't you know some of us in this field? He said it to their faces. We are the ones who fly. And he sighed the ancient words that were a dark promise. He said them all around to the others in the field under the whip. Boobayale boomba tumbe. There was a great outcrying. The bent backs straightened up. Old and young who were called slaves and could fly joined hands. Say like they could ring sing, but they didn't shuffle in a circle, and they didn't sing. They rose on the air. They flew in a flock that was black against the heavenly blue. Black crows or black shadows, it didn't matter. They went so high, way above the plantation, way over the slavery land. Say they flew away to freedom. And the old man, old Toby, flew behind them, taking care of them. He wasn't crying. He wasn't laughing. He was the seer. His gaze fell on the plantation where the slaves who could not fly waited. "Take us with you." Their looks said it, but they were afraid to shout it. Toby couldn't take them with him, hadn't the time to teach them to fly. They must wait for a chance to run. "Goodbye," the old man Toby spoke to them, poor souls. And he was flying, gone. So they say, the overseer told it. The one called master said it was a lie, a trick of the light. The driver kept his mouth shut. The slaves who could not fly told about the people who could fly to their children. When they were free, when they sat close to the fire in the free land, they told it. They did so love firelight and freedom and telling. They say that the children of the ones who could not fly told their children. And now me, I have told it to you.
The end. Love you.